saying by doing this that we think it needs to be left the way it is?
Right now, those lines are back to forever ago.
And that's the way it was.
Now, that's what those long-term easements are, is people have used that line over and over and over, and they have a right to, over time, continue to use that.
Is this easement written anywhere, or?
No, it was established for the benefit of the people, so they could have sewers, and you may have a property that you need to pass over another person's property to get to another place, and yeah, there's a lot of hand-to-hand. People took handshakes and made deals, so these were city things that were done to help people to have utilities and move on with their lives or businesses.
I know out in the country, if a road is moved and established for 7 years or a fence, then that becomes the
norm.
norm. Does something like that apply to these, Jim?
I call it expensive easement, and actually, the city really didn't have anything to do with that easement. What happened is that the private owners went together and decided that they would have a common sewer line for all of them. And they used their own money to go ahead and install the sewer line that they used for years. It's not on city property. The city really has no control over it at all because it's a private sewer line. And so this is a dispute between property owners and the city really has anything to do with it. We need to figure out among themselves how they're going to handle that or take it forward when it's through.
Well, thanks for that correction, because I kind of laid this back on the city sewer line being laid and the people moving towards it. And, okay, so we've got a better definition. Lyle?
Yeah, I think you need to clarify the fact is that that includes the water lines and sewer lines. The
Well,
city-
for this one, it's the sewer.
I know, but it's joined together, is that the water line is the same thing. It's a easement from back when Howard Ashton had his photo studio there.
Well, this is concerning the sewer.
I know that, Joe, but you can't separate the two because of one party insisting on the water line that's been there forever to be moved because she didn't want it, and now she wants the sewer to be okay. It's not two-way
So
street.
tonight, we're considering the sewer line, that's.
Well,
what
it's the
they-
city's got nothing to do with it because it's not a city issue.
Okay, so now we need some motion to that effect.
Well, I don't, if it's not a city issue, why would we even need a motion? Or do you just want it on
I
the,
think it needs to be on the books to stop the involvement of the city being involved in a private dispute.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
You had brought up the fact that it was 7 years and it was accepted. When buildings are torn down that are no longer grandfathered in, and you build a new building, you have to bring them up to code. And that pretty much takes care of the water line issue there. Leonard's wife had the building before I did, and Lyle worked for the city. There was no papers drawn up between them. I mean, from 2009 till now. Why all of a sudden now am I the one?
Well, I think
Getting
back to
picked
the
on?
sewer line, there's an easement from the past that you have.
Yeah,
So
and
that's,
before Ashton's, there was an undertaker and there was a water line and
Yeah.
sewer drain in the basement. And I went through it all with Benny Taylor, and the reason they went the very back corner of Lyle's lot, lot 18 north at the time, they crossed over that corner, so sewer has to drop and run downhill in
well,
order
I think,
for it to
I
work.
think at this point, we've addressed the
Yeah.
fact that you have an easement.
But it is within, Benny said, the city's right-of-way for utilities, but the city has that easement. Even though our lots go to the center of the alley, the city still has that established easement for
That's what
utility.
Jim's telling us,
and
that the
sewer.
city doesn't have anything to do with your dispute is between two property owners.
Where my sewer crosses though is within that utility easement.
So,
It's still a private line.
yeah, we need, even though it is that, we've addressed the fact that you have an easement there. So,
And he's actually tapped into, when he built the new building,
well, for
to
right now,
my
we need,
established sewer line. So,
right now, we need to establish how we're gonna move on with this. So.
yeah. And, I don't know, was there ever any discussion between Lyle and Leonard about this? Why wait until now to send letters to me? Is what I
Right now,
don't
you
get.
have the right, you have an easement, so you're
Okay.
taken care of from our standpoint.
Okay, so as
Yeah,
far as
we
the
would have
city's
to do it.
concerned, I'm covered through the utility right of way.
You have an easement from,
That was
Past
established back in
history.
1921.
and your two property owners that are working this out between each other.
Joe, I just, I'm not gonna be sitting here and be painted out of that
You're
picture.
not liable.
Anita Miller and I sat down, and when she bought the building, we went together and added on to the back of the building so that her air conditioner would not be covered with snow. We worked together on that. We agreed to draw up an easement. Unfortunately, I was in Minnesota working on my son's house, and Anita was killed in an accident. But it was in the works.
No,
This ain't my
that's
first
a lie.
rodeo.
I've talked to
That
the
is-
daughters, I've talked to Leonard. There was never any easement
Anyway, I'm
in
not
the
gonna
works.
argue with you.
Never.
That's all right, Karen,
It's
we need to
gone
do
on
this now.
too far. For the last
You
year and a
think
half,
there's nothing,
I've been harassed. And I just please want it to stop. Please.
what do you think, Jim?
Well, I expect the motion, if you're looking for a motion, the motion would be to not take a position in regard to pipe sewer lines between the property owners.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we not take a position on private sewer lines between property owners.
But do you honor your utility
This will
easement
be
in that?
between you folks.
It'll be
Tonight,
on-
we're ending the discussion with the city, so from this point on, it'll be a private, working out your differences. I need a second.
No.
Leonard? All in favor? Roll call. Sorry.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes,
Hughes. Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action, recommendation of LB 840 loan review committee. LB 840 loan for the Mill Point will be held.
The loan review committee met last week to discuss the third possible LB 840 loan for Mill Point LLC. Mill Point is requesting $50,000 and a total project cost of $743,757. The loan that they requested was a 15-year loan with fixed 2.5% interest compounded annually. And then the city would take a subordinate lien to Madison County Bank. The loan review committee recommended that the city council move forward on this loan. And so we're here tonight to have a discussion and hopefully get this approved by the city council. Are there any questions?
So, the payment will be 50,000 divided by 15 plus the interest, or is this an amortized,
It'll be amortized.
equal payments?
Yep,
Equal payments for 15 years?
yeah.
I think 50,000 is just over 40% of our available funds. I think 50,000 is a little bit too much to use that much in one loan of our available funds. if we had, we had two recently, and 30,000 is gone, there's 149,000 in the LB 480. That would put us down below 120. And if we would happen to get some more come in, no, that puts us down to 120 with the 30,000 we approved last meeting. And then you take 50,000 out of that, we're down to 70,000. So if you would get some more that we wanted to do fairly shortly, and I know it'll build back up, it accumulates about above or below 4,000 a month, so it would be building up. Personally, I think 35,000 with the TIF we offered them would, in case more people come in, we need to preserve a little bit of that funds for down the road. So I'd be in favor of 45,000.
When would this money be paid out? At the completion of their project, or?
The way that our loans are structured, especially with a construction project like this, the primary financier finances the project until completion, so like a construction loan. And then when the project is complete, they request distribution, and that's when we would send the funds. So like the Snodgrasses, we haven't cut the check for 30,000. We won't cut the check until their building's purchased and completely remodeled, and the bank requests distribution. So, figure sometime in October. And then with the Smiths project, the Mill Point, I'm gonna see, figure, let's say November, December. So now you've got another 5 or 6 months at 40,000 or 4,000. So we're hoping that, that fund would be back up around the 95,000 mark, in the next five months. Because we're going into the fourth quarter, and that's, some of those receipts can be up to $45,000 to $5,000 in our monthly receipts. So we're hoping that by that December timeframe, we would still have funds in reserve. As far as the Economic Development Board is concerned, they, when we started going out for loans, they had wanted to keep in reserve 50,000 just for that rainy day project. But at the same point, what's the rainy day project? Is the Smith project a rainy day project, where you wanna help them out, or they playing in a game of what ifs, and never know really who that what if is or what's coming down the pipe. We have not had any interest from any projects. There's one that would be looking at March of next year that has expressed interest in an LB 40 loan, but they don't have a primary financer lined up yet. Does that answer kind of what you're?
My only thought would be that you have a project over here at 100 and some thousand, and you got one over there at 700, and you get 130 and 135. In my mind, the balance between those two amounts is really a lot more exaggerated than on this
Percent of
side.
the project.
Does the loan committee have standards about the amount that they loan?
In the economic development plan that was voted on by the people in Neely, the only criteria is that we don't spend all the money that's in the account currently. And that the project, that we don't finance any more than 50% of any project, total project cost.
Well, I think with the scope of this project, 744,050 is a fair amount to contribute to economic development. And then apparently the LB 840 loan review committee thought that way too.
And there will be some refunding coming before the money goes out to all too.
Well, I would make a motion that we approve the 50,000. Approve the LB 840 loan review committee's recommendation.
I'll go ahead and second.
We're making a recommendation for LB 840 loan for the Millstone project, $50,000.
We're approving their recommendation.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Swan,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
and Miller. Motion carried.
Item number 12, consideration and possible action for setting public hearing for tax increment financing for bond guards.
Sorry, I forgot my other papers. We are coming up on, moving forward with the Baumgart's tax increment financing project to expand or extend the water line, to help them with their expansion. But with that, we need to look at setting a public hearing date. Per state statute, we need to publish notice, 2 times, with the last notice being at least 10 days before the meeting. So in talking with Dana, she had said that, we're looking at potentially that second or third week in August, that August 20th timeframe. Just so we're not rushing through on this TIF project, I'd like to push that back to that August 20th meeting. If that's when we set our budgetary meeting, to have the public hearing that date. Sometimes when you're dealing with a corporate entity, you get their lawyer talking to our lawyer, talking to their lawyer, and things have to go back 4 or 5 rounds before you get all the documents signed. So I think that meeting would give us a little bit more time than the regular meeting.
Can you make a motion for that?
Well, we haven't set the date for the special meeting to do a budget workshop where we'll go through the budget in a little more review. My question was to ask if you would consider Wednesday, August 19th, or Thursday, August 20th. And this could just be done as one of the items on the agenda before we go into the budget in depth.
That's an advertising.
Yes, yes.
Either date works for me.
Is it hard to travel
As
down
far as
there?
I know, it works for me.
Wednesday, August 19th, or Thursday, August 20th. Are you traveling or anything during that week, or will one night work better than the other?
I'll have to check with my travel.
August 14th.
Yes.
We've already had vacation.
I'm gonna start taking a lot more.
And it would actually be setting a date for public hearings to declare an area of the city as blighted and substandard and in need of redevelopment, and to adopt a redevelopment plan for said blighted and substandard area.
How about if we do it, kind of set the date, see how it works?
Yeah, I think either one will.
And Dale might be.
And maybe could I request that we try Thursday, August 20th?
We don't have to find subs.
Need a motion to consider setting a public hearing
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
setting August 20th as a public hearing date for the TIF for bond guards. Any other discussion?
Is 7 o'clock okay? Would that be all right?
Yes.
Roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Swan,
Yes.
Hughes. Motion carried.
Appointments presented. Planning Commission, there's an opening on that. Dane decided that with his business growth, that he would step down. And we want to thank him for his years of service. It's very much appreciated. We want to post it in the paper. We had one person that we visited with a little bit, but I'd like to see if there's some people that might have some interest in helping out our community. We have well over 100 volunteers on other boards and that, so we're gonna put a notice in the paper, see if we get some interest in having somebody that would like to see the city grow. We have one more appointment to the Park Foundation for a 3-year term. I need a motion to appoint Ray Aarons to the Park Foundation. Second?
I'll second.
This is an appointment for Ray Aarons to the Park Foundation. Any discussion? A roll call?
Hughes.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes,
Wallen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Joe, I have a question.
Yes.
When we advertise, would we consider advertising online too, as many people
Oh, sure.
are
Oh,
online?
sure. Yeah, that's, it's taken a while to soak in, but I'm kidding.
I'm gonna get you there, Joe.
Yes, yes, we will do that.
Thank you.
And it's a really important position, so I hope people would consider giving other time. Item 14, as he appears, Economic Development Director's Report.
We have been in the process for the last almost 3 months now, advertising for an assistant economic development director. And we found a good candidate, and we've extended a job offer, and they verbally accepted. Laura Sheridan Simonson has accepted the position. She is married to Steve Simonson, a chiropractor here in town, currently working in O'Neill at an eye doctor's position, and is looking for a place to work here in Neely where she doesn't have to commit. She's very passionate about growing Neely. And so we would like to see if the council would approve our choice.
Have you committed to $1?
Yeah, $13 an hour.
And just for the public's benefit, can you remind how that's paid or where the funds come from?
We've been working on an agreement with the Neely Chamber of Commerce and the Village of Clearwater for about 6 months, maybe even more, to make this position happen. Clearwater has an LBA 40 account, and they've been meeting for almost a year, and it's become apparent that as volunteers that they need someone to help them, and so I believe it was 2 months ago, we approved an agreement with them to help fund this position, and our office would extend community development and economic development services to Clearwater. And then as well, we at the same time signed an agreement with the chamber. So there's 3 entities that are helping fund this position for the foreseeable future.
Thanks. So
We
need a
need
motion to.
Yes, we need a motion to approve the hiring of Laura Simonson.
I would make that motion.
Second.
Now, have a motion to approve the hiring of Laura Simonson at $13 an hour as the Assistant Economic Director.
Surprised there's no
Roll
open
call.
discussion on this thing.
Miller.
yes,
Wallen.
Yes.
And Hughes. Motion carried.
Economic Development Report.
I believe it would be, Jerry was still in office, we started talking about replacing the banners.
Their taxes are half.
And this was a cost share between the city and the Neely Chamber of Commerce. Blackburn Manufacturing has given us this proof of what the banners would look like. The company that they're working with will 3D print. So it's a frosted out picture of the mill with the Neely logo and not too small to have it all. This will be the same size as our current banners, the streetscape banners that are maroon with white lettering. They've changed technology so they can digitally print, and it'll be printed on a white banner. So just the edges of it will be white, but the rest will be colored in just exactly how this picture looks. So I just wanted to get your blessing on this banner before I approve the proof. Yes, it's two-sided.
Can't wait to see him.
Okay. All right. And then,
Maybe maybe just to give a highlight of what you do with them, the banners.
These will go on the street lights. There's 18 banners throughout Neely. We're ordering, I believe, 36. The banners that are up there right now are very tattered. I think they've been around, what, 7 years? Maybe more than that. And so we are down, I don't think we have any more left. And so, I mean, they're getting worn and out quite a bit. So the chamber had looked at trying to replace these last year, and the city agreed to cost share 50-50 with the chamber on purchasing replacement banners.
Okay, thanks.
Nope. On Thursday, the Department of Economic Development was in Neely. They did a site visit for the downtown revitalization grant that we applied for. The site visit is part of the grant application. It's about 10% of the score comes from the site visit. So it helps them make their decision on who gets the grant funding. They had 3 individuals in town, and we're here for 3 hours to just tour downtown, talk with business owners about what projects might happen. And the first phase is a planning grant, and it's a planning grant of $30,000. And then the second phase is implementation. So you have $350,000 from the state to actually implement your plan. There's a record number of applicants for this grant this year. They had 11 applicants. Last year they had 5. And they decided to fund 5 phase 1 planning grants. And then they're going to change it up, and next year they'll fund 4 phase 2 plans. So they're going to make a phase 2 competitive, so one of those 5 communities will not receive $350,000 from the state. So they're changing it up a little bit, but I feel very good about how the visit went. They said a lot of key words that you're always looking for with any sort of grant visit and government visit.
Thank you.
Where do these funds come from?
This is a community development block grant, so it's federal funds from the Housing and Urban Development, and that money trickles down to the state. The Department of Economic Development handles all HUD funds, and then they distribute it to the municipalities.
Thanks for the work you and your committees have done to make this at least touchable. For 30 years, we haven't got anywhere near this kind of money, so what these folks are doing is really a benefit for the city. So that the people are wondering what these guys are doing, that's what they're doing. There's a lot of things going on that are making this a great place, and also the people. Those people came here and they said, you have a great place, you have a great reputation. So as much as we sometimes think there's a lot of negative stuff, the world out there is hearing a lot of positive things about Neely, Nebraska. And that's been done over the years by Lyle and Dana and Jim and people like Greg that have come here to make a difference in our area. So the language out there is positive. So what we're hearing about ourselves from those folks was that. So.
And I'd like to thank the business owners that welcomed the committee into their businesses to highlight some of the great things that were going on and some of the improvements that they're hoping to make.
So thanks.
Yep.
Is that it?
That's it.
We need a motion to approve the report.
I'll make a motion.
Leonard, any discussion? Roll call?
Miller?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Motion carried.
June police report. Hey, Craig and Melissa, thanks.
Thank you.
For making an investment immediately, so thanks a lot.
Thank you. Evening, is there any questions on the June police report as presented?
Do you have any problem with fireworks?
There was a few complaints, but not a lot, and those that were talked to were receptive. They listened.
Something I've noticed while walking in the park this year, and I don't know I don't see a lot of signage, but people going the wrong way around the park from the pool on. I know that sometimes people come out of ballpark and take a shortcut, but I've noticed it a lot at the pool. And so I'm just wondering, is there signage that says one way?
At the
I
pool,
know that
there is,
there's-
that first tree north of the pool says do not enter.
Okay.
But you could come out of the ball field and come north, can't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's going the other way